Princess Avenger is a fantasy romance with paranormal elements. My hero is a shape-shifting army captain, and my heroine is a princess who has decided she's going to right all the wrongs in her kingdom that have been caused by her father. So she dresses up and heads out at night to fix everything, and her army captain has been charged with looking after her. So she's frantically trying to keep her alter ego a secret, and she doesn't do a very good job. Instant attraction. He saves her life at the start of the book, but of course he doesn't know who she is because she's dressed as a boy, and so there's that instant chemistry, and then she spends a lot of time trying to avoid him because she's desperately scared that he's going to recognise her for the princess. No, definitely not. And she finds that attraction building over time, and so and this is her first experience of love. She's been quite sheltered, as a lot of princesses are, and she's also trying to protect her other identity, so she's trying to keep him at arm's length, but finds herself irresistibly drawn to his alpha qualities. And of course he's battling to protect his other life too, his shape-shifting, which he's not fully in control of. So he's also very worried that he's going to change into, he's got 3 forms: bear, wolf and orc. He's got the least control over the bear, and he's desperately worried that he's going to end up shifting in a moment and hurt her. My muse inspired Princess Avenger, I've come to understand. I went on a walk one day and it just came out of the blue. I had been charged with writing a romance by my mentor, Louise Cusack, and that was what came to me, an avenging princess who dressed up as a boy to do things that princesses just never are expected to do. A lot of our heroines are in some ways based on ourselves. I think she starts off pretty naive in a lot of ways. Like she thinks she can carry through with that violence, really. She thinks she can do that. She thinks she can make up for, you know, the things that her father has done through physical means, and it's quite a shock for her. And I think that growth from a naive 20-something through to really understanding what you're capable of and being confronted with decisions and that sort of thing is something that I've been through, that we've all been through as young women. The black and white turning into the grey and that sort of, so a little, I wouldn't say she's based on me, but I can see, I think a little bit of me goes into all my heroines. My background from a young teenager, well, from a young teenager is fantasy. I grew up with Tolkien, Brooks. That was almost all I ever read, and so that's my normal world, is fantasy, witches, elves, goblins, dwarves. I don't have so many of those, but when I thought about writing a romance, I could not write a contemporary romance. It had to be that high fantasy with paranormal characters. I think it frees you up to be able to make your own rules, and even though, you know, there's certain things that are in common with a lot of fantasy books, you can decide what you want to be the truth, and I don't go over the top with my world building because I get impatient to be writing the story. So I build my world in as I go along, I work out my rules as I go along, and also I like to write in series, so if I can create a world and characters and then I can move on with new characters in the same world, I think that simplifies things as well. But I just love creating my world the way I want it. I'm lucky in that I can do my part-time job over 2 days, so it's about a half time, I guess. And the rest of the 5 days of the week are devoted to my writing and to my family. I don't get much downtime where I can just do fun things like have coffee with girlfriends and go to movies and things like that. But I just find that I'm driven to keep working towards finishing books and writing my stories. If I don't write, I'm not happy. I've got that niggle in the back of my head that says, sit down and put some words down. I think my favourite at the moment would have to be Sophia James. She's a historical writer, and I find there's a lot in common between historical romances and fantasy because of the times, the danger, the glamour, the chivalry of the men. And I worked with her last year as a mentor, and I love her characters and the names of her characters, especially her men. That's where she's the inspiration for my Vard, my hero. He started out with a different name and she just tweaked it and it's perfect. So I'd say Sophia at the moment I just love. It's all my dreams come true, basically. I knew this would happen. I was determined this would happen, that I would be published one day. And I've just kept the faith and just worked towards that. I've taken my opportunities and I'm just so grateful to be getting these opportunities and looking forward to the future and more books.